No, I mean, I'm disgusted by the whole thing. Fox News had a piece by Hugh Hewitt today saying only crazy people who have barren personal lives are unhappy enough to concoct these like insane conspiracy theories that maybe Jeffrey Epstein was up to no good. So I'm happy with that.
Tucker Carlson isn't angry. He's disappointed, deeply disappointed in Donald Trump. Last night, live on stage, he laid out the Epstein story with such clarity, such disturbing force, that even seasoned legal experts were left speechless. This isn't just about one dead man in a prison cell. It's about an entire system, about power, about silence, about the promise Trump once made. To break that silence, many people voted Trump because of Epstein, because they hoped someone would finally expose what others kept hiding. But what's left of that promise today? Best you hear it yourself. Tucker Carlson is asking the very question that cuts straight into the bone. Check this out.
So, Tucker, talk to me as if I'm like in 4th grade. Explain why the base cares so much about this.
So Jeffrey Epstein was a math teacher at the Dalton School in New York before he got a college degree. He was hired by a guy called Donald Barr, who was the headmaster of Dalton, whose son, amazingly, later became Attorney General of the United States twice, and was the guy who Bill Barr, who first signed off on the ludicrous idea that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison after 36 days, after like telling his lawyer that he was going to get out in a week. And this guy, without a college degree and no kind of work history, wound up making billions of dollars from no obvious source whatsoever, jetting around the world with the most famous people in the world and having this incredibly weird, exotic sex life that over time it became clear was a blackmail scheme designed to entrap the world's most powerful people in compromising positions and use that information against them to get them to do the will of whoever's running this blackmail scheme. So this, I think, became pretty obvious to everybody, except for the National Press Corps, that just did not want to talk about it. Epstein dies. There's no investigation into it. Donald Barr's son, who's then Attorney General, tells us, no, he killed himself, really, but all the cameras were broken. And so this is sort of boiled beneath the surface for anyone who's interested at all in like what was Epstein, digs in a little bit and finds out to this day, so we're now, 6 years after his murder, we don't know where the money came from. We still don't know where the money came from.
And can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
It wasn't just millions. He was living as if he was worth $10 billion. We're talking about palatial estates,
He had the largest
islands.
Private residence in Manhattan.
So the magnitude of wealth, I hope you understand, this was not like a couple $100 million bucks. He was living like he was he was a co-founder of Meta.
No, but right out in the open. And everybody
Yes.
in famous person world was rolling through the house for dinner. And most of them, I don't think, did anything wrong. But then he winds up indicted again, comes back from France, gets indicted again, and famously dies in federal lockup in Manhattan. And it's very obvious from the beginning that this is not a suicide. And then the medical examiner's like, no, he was strangled to death. So all of this information's on the internet. Everybody who cares to know knows it. They're not conspiracy theorists. They're not mentally ill. And Pam Bondi knows it, and she's talked about it a lot. And she goes on Fox, and she's like, actually, it's all true. And we've got thousands of videos of underage girls being abused. And I have the client list on my desk, and I'm going to release all of this. And then, 4 days ago, she comes out with an official statement from the Department of Justice saying, actually, no, he did kill himself. We know that for a fact. And here's an edited video from an irrelevant angle that proves it, even though, of course, it does not at all prove it. And we have no evidence that he hurt anybody, and we're not indicting anyone, and his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail, and that's enough, and he's dead, and it was a natural death, and like, shut up, conspiracy theorists.
America feels like a never-ending blockbuster, a global thriller, non-stop, unpredictable. No matter what's happened, the whole world is watching, even us here in Germany. And look, maybe it's not my place to judge, but we are still asking the question, how the hell did Epstein end up owning multiple golf courses, each worth over $40 million? I've read the articles. He had no trading desk, no company, no balance sheet, no banking license. And yet, he was supposedly managing the wealth of billionaires. Then it gets even more absurd. Leon Black, founder of Apollo Global Management, net worth over $8 billion. Trump advisor, art collector, Wall Street legend. He paid Epstein over $100 million for tax advice. Give me a break. That's not jealousy. That's basic logic. Even if we ignore the client list, which allegedly included people who were compromised, one question remains. Where did the money come from? The jets, the homes, the private islands. The man was a high school math teacher. And with all of that on the table, Trump still said this.
Sure. Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the native staff?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I gotta be honest. This behavior feels suspicious. I've seen it before. When someone suddenly takes the moral high ground just to shut down an uncomfortable question. I've done it myself, back in my early 20s, in a relationship. My girlfriend found some messages, and yeah, it was pretty clear I'd been seeing other women. She had every right to call me out. But instead of owning it, I flipped the script. I said things like, "How dare you violate my trust? Why are you trying to control me?" I was young and stupid. So to any woman who's ever been through something like that, I'm sorry, truly sorry. But here's the thing. Trump is acting the exact same way. That kind of reaction, a lot of people will see right through it. And that's why Tucker Carlson actually made a damn good point. Because right now many voters feel betrayed by the so-called anti-establishment Trump, who's suddenly delivering the same old Washington BS he once promised to destroy. But don't take my word for it. Listen to what Tucker Carlson say.
And people who voted for Trump, not the left, Trump voters rise up on the internet in full revolt. And not just on Twitter, where there are some wackos, to be honest, and me, non-wackos too, but like normal people, 65-year-old Trump voters who were like, I don't, believe that aliens running the government or anything, but you're lying to me. And not only are you lying to me, you're patronizing me and calling me names when I ask questions. You're acting like the freaking liberals do. When they don't want to answer a question, they just call you a racist and move on. Like, no, I voted for you because I wanted you to respect me as a citizen and pay me the compliment of treating me like an adult, and you're not. So the real scandal here is who he was working for and where the money came from. That's the actual scandal, and no one will say anything about it because the answer...
Was it American intelligence?
No.
Was it Saudi intelligence?
No.
Was it British intelligence?
It was Israeli intelligence. And everyone's embarrassed to say that because you're not allowed to say that or something because you're a hater, but you're not a hater at all. You can think Israel's a great country that deserves our support, as I do.
My best memories are in Israel.
Yeah, it's great. I've taken my family on vacation there, but it's still a foreign country, and it's a fair question to ask, were you running a blackmail scheme in our country? And I think the answer is yes.
So then is the fact he was an Israeli intelligence asset, is that public knowledge now, or is that
It's
inferred?
obvious to anybody. Well, Israel has not confirmed that and won't, which I think is amazing.
And they've been asked.
They've been asked directly.
And they say what?
We're not answering that question.
I know, this is a burning hot topic, and my channel's still small, still fragile. Too early to dive all the way in. But help me grow, because when the time comes, I will bring out the full analysis. I dig deeper than a sniper scope, and my work will only begin when others walk away. I'm here to offer you real perspective. So if you're in, hit like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.